The Crystal Exarch is an enigma in himself, and I find his secrecy at times to be exhausting. However, I do kind of like him. As we prepare the Talos for bringing down Mount Gulg, he shows how tired he is due to his distance from the Crystal Tower and his powers being used here in the area. There are several things he mentions in this conversation that I kind of wanted to discuss here. 1. This dream he has when he awakes. The future is where my destiny awaits. 2. Him joining himself to the Crystal Tower and potentially Emet-Selch's interest in him. 3. His kindness towards me and really one of the nicest things anyone has ever said. 4. Who is this mystery person he is mentioning right at the end of this conversation? And 5. Who are the people who roused the Crystal Exarch from his slumber? So much information was provided in this conversation that I didn't realize until afterwards, and none of it makes any sense to me yet, so let's try to break it down. Firstly, this dream. When we awake, he states, "The future is where my destiny awaits." Does this imply that something is going to happen to him soon, that he'll need to endure and eventually come to terms with it, because despite how serious it is, the future is all that's important? Can he see the future and understand and interpret it? Does he come back with us? Was it really a dream, or was he communicating with someone? Here's a scene for you guys. Hey, you alright, dude? Wakey, wakey.
The future is where my destiny awaits.
Huh?
Forgive me, I was lost in a dream. I needed some fresh air and thought to rest for a moment. It would seem I am more fatigued than I realized.
Now, I cannot have the answers, but I am paying attention to you, Exarch. Following this, we discuss his distance away from the Crystal Tower and how it's impacted him. He made himself one with the tower because he knew fighting off the flood would take many years, so joining himself to the Crystal Tower would allow him to live indefinitely. What worries me here is the interest that Emet has in the Crystal Exarch and his ability to have brought us here to the First. Emet also had a foot in the Allied Empire along with the Guardian Empire and appears to be a mystery to even his own people. Pair that with his interest in us taking down the Light Wardens, and I fear that Emet will have a plan for the Crystal Exarch as he becomes weaker, and with his ties to the Crystal Tower, Emet probably understands more than he is saying.
Too much time away from the tower, I fear. It drains me, leaves my body frail and weak. Though, in truth, it is debatable whether I can still call this my body.
What do you mean? Oh. Yeah?
When first I turned my mind towards the salvation of the world, I came to the conclusion that it would take many long years, many more than remain to me. And so I made myself one with the Crystal Tower, that I might live indefinitely. I am but an extension of it now. Hence my weakness the farther I travel, and the longer I am away.
Can we help him with that? Probably not, right?
It has been quite a journey. But thanks to you, the end is in sight. My wish will finally be fulfilled.
He's opening up choice, which is awesome. We haven't had much time with the Exarch since coming here. Now, I don't have much to say here, but after the previous thoughts and how weak he is, he has some incredibly kind words to share with us. I've always wanted to do good in the world in real life, and being able to basically live vicariously through my Warrior of Light and hear such wonderful things feels really good. Thank you, Final Fantasy, for giving this to me.
Tell me, when all of this is over, what will you do?
Go back to my world and do the Endwalker expansion. After the patches, of course. What I always do, seek out mightier foes. I'll settle matters with the Empire. I mean, I have to.
Ah, yes. Even should we succeed in forestalling the 8th Umbral Calamity, the spectre of war will remain. But to declare your intent with such easy resolve, you truly are a hero's hero, my friend. But whatever it is you decide to do, I have every confidence that you will do well. For you have the strength to forge your own path. You will leave countless lives better than you found them, and the souls you touch will never forget your kindness. Then, in trying times, when you question your worth and your choices, they will raise their voices to remind you of the difference you have made.
You imagine somebody telling me this in real life? I would like ugly sob if somebody told me this in real life.
And thus will your deeds come to affirm your path. Remember this.
Despite my character seeming upset, with the information, good old la facial expressions, I found it quite nice after everything we've been through. However, it also feels much like our first point, where it's kind of a reminder to stay strong through the rough times. Is something coming? Now, I flipped the question on the Exarch, and he speaks of someone that appears to have absolutely dazzled him. Who could this person be?
I once told you that there are things we can ill afford to lose. Things, I said. Though in truth, I spoke of a person. One who is unaware of the full extent of my plans. Though he deserves to know, I have good reason to keep my counsel. I have come to terms with this in my mind, yet my heart yearns to lay everything bare. For he is my inspiration, and I would give much and more for the chance to speak with him as friends, with no thought of concealment. Should he indulge me with his tales, I would regale him with my own about my efforts in Norvrandt, perhaps.
Who the frig is he talking about? When he's talking about his efforts in Norvrandt, so he's talking about somebody who isn't currently in Norvrandt. So is he talking about somebody from our world?
Though, ultimately, that tale is more yours than it is mine. Then, I would ask him about his next adventure. And if he should wish me to be a part of it, oh, how happy it would make me.
I want nothing more than for that to come true for the Exarch, assuming, I guess, they're okay with also being connected to the Crystal Tower forever. Now, finally, the Crystal Exarch ends the conversation with this.
The people of this world have entrusted their hopes to us. We cannot fail them. Nor those who roused me from my slumber.
Swing wide the gates is what he said before we came here. He also always made it sound like he awoke to help the world, but it sounds like he was summoned here. I'm beginning to think he's kind of like a primal of a sense, or was the Crystal Tower summoned here from across time? Who brought the Crystal Exarch here and for what purpose? Was it to save the First? Is it an ulterior motive to set things in motion, such as bringing us here, defeating the Light Wardens, him becoming one with the Tower, which, in my opinion, based on Emmet's focus on us and the Exarch, he seems like the likely candidate to put something like that in motion. After everything I do, like Emet, but I'm worried he has some motive that we are unaware of and everything is pointing towards him. What does Vauthry have to do with all this? What does defeating him set in motion? I guess we'll find out next time when we finish building the Talos and set it on Mount Gulg. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.